Hello, we're back with the dark side himself. Been a while, I think, haven't it? When's the last one of these you did, Mr. Dark
Oh,
Side?
mate, absolutely. Well, I'd just like to say to all my fans that have missed me, I've had loads of emails saying, "Where are you?" I've been so busy of late in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I've got a bit of spare time on my hands, and I've been putting a lot of practice in, and I'm here and I'm back. So good to see you, Matt. Looking
Well, it's
forward to
good to see
tonight's chat.
you as well. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for getting all that stuff out of the way. You're back in business. So we've got Russell on tonight, and Russell Thomas from the Raging Ball. I've
Absolutely.
never met him before, to be honest. I know you have, and you've obviously been down that club a few times. Yeah, should be good. I'm looking forward to hearing. I mean, obviously he's running the club, plays as
Yeah.
well, but I'm looking forward to hearing now. Well, the gubbings and the drawbacks of running the club and some of the challenges, because
Well,
a lot of people only see the one side of, oh, I just
of
want to
course they
play
do.
pool. They don't understand the background to it, so it's going to be quite interesting.
He's the main man down that way, down at High Wycombe. He really is. He's totally for the players, helps the players. I think we shouldn't hesitate, and I think we should get him on, young man.
Yeah, let's get him in.
Or would
Look.
you like the young man bit there?
Yes, I do. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Hey,
I'm
hey,
knocking on
Russell.
wood at the minute.
Great to see you, mate. Hang on, hold on a minute. Where's the
He's
dark side
looking a
hat
young
there,
man,
mate?
actually.
I can
Yeah,
see you
where's the hat?
advertising the
Where's your
Raging
hat
Ball. Where's
gone?
the hat?
I think it disintegrated in the wash, to be honest. I put it on too much of a hot wash.
Oh, you terror, you. You know what I mean? Well, we better get you another one sent up, haven't we? Hey. So,
How you
how are
doing,
you?
chap?
Well, yeah, absolutely fine, mate. I was just saying I haven't been around for a couple of weeks, and I'm glad to be back. And I haven't done a podcast for probably 3 weeks, and great to have you on here, mate. And just get a nice little chat going with Matt, and off we go.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Likewise. Much
Yeah, no,
appreciated.
thanks for coming on. So yeah, kicking things off here now. Obviously, I said I've never really met you before. Surprisingly, I've done a lot of tournaments things, but so obviously so just yeah, give me a bit of background and for people out there. I mean, what is it that you're actually doing? Because I know you play as well, and we'll come on to that as we go through. But so yeah, kick us off, Russ. I mean, what is it that you actually do for the Raging Ball or whatever?
So I joined the club approximately 6.5 years ago, just as bar staff after being made redundant from Tesco. Work
Okay.
night, work nights now for about 20 years. So it's pretty much standard procedure for me being on nights. Just joined the team.
The vampire shift.
Yeah, yeah.
The Twilight Shift.
Just joined the team just to keep the club operating. Wanted to get my teeth into just giving the club a shake. Really, I just didn't feel like there was anything really going on within the local scene in High Wycombe. The snooker leisure that used to be on the Desborough Road closed 15, 16 years ago now.
Yeah.
And as you know, all the pubs and clubs, have been closing left, right, and centre, especially post-COVID.
Yeah.
So I joined the team, got my feet under the table, and slowly tried to implement a few ideas and network with the players, and got myself into a position where I was able to get promoted alongside my now co-manager, Jacob. We run the club to the best of our abilities, and we gel well together, I think. He deals more with the admin side of it, and I deal with the playing aspect of it.
Oh,
Brilliant.
lovely. So what goes? I go. I've been. I'm a member down at the club there, Russ. But tell us what disciplines you got down at the club, because some clubs are just dedicated to snooker, some are dedicated to nine ball. What have you got going on down there for the old
So
club?
the club itself is now in its third iteration. It was originally Fast Eddie's from 1997 when Adrian and Vince first opened it. It was the first ever, to the best of my knowledge, American pool only club in the UK. So I'm sure someone could correct me if it wasn't, but it was just 18 American pool tables in there, all K-Steels at the time, obviously cheap and cheerful. It was then part of the Hurricane Room chain once it was bought out. And then approximately a decade ago, it became its own splinter company, the Raging Ball, that got its own bingo license that gave us the access to the higher payout machines and the bingo. In its current iteration, we've got 10 full-size billiard tables upstairs on the second floor, one of which being a match spec table with the pockets cut accordingly, steel block cushions.
Say that, Russ. Sorry, do you say billiards tables?
So snooker.
I was going to say, I don't know anybody. I was thinking, what are you on about?
I refuse to say snooker table because there is no such thing. It is a billiard table.
Okay.
There you go, from the man himself. Yep.
And we've got 10 full-size American pool tables, 2 of which have currently got the Simonis grey shark cloth on. The pockets are tightened up according to the Matchroom spec.
Yeah.
Just over 4 inches, because I feel that if we're any tighter than that, once the cloth's worn in, it almost becomes unplayable in club.
Well, that's what's happened down at Tooting. You know, I won't play there. I won't play there again. When it's unplayable down there, in my opinion. You know, and I think that's a shame, really. So it's good to hear that you're doing that.
Yeah, and also as well, you've got to be mindful that from a cost efficiency perspective, as much as we would love to have TV conditions all year round, it's just not cost efficient. You would have to be charging astronomical prices otherwise, and then you would be merely turning people away. So you've got to be realistic as well. It's all about maintaining them and just make sure that people, you know, look after the facilities, and we try and police it as best we can, as and when we can. So the other tables we've got 5 Supreme English pool tables, 4 of which have got the cloths they use on the IPA tour, which is the Strachan 861 blue.
Yeah.
And then we've got the superfine grey on the match table on the mezzanine floor.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So these shark grey cloths that you've got on there, are they fairly new?
So John
and like tightening up the pockets, is that?
Yeah. So John Smith from London Billiards, who we've been using for as far back as I can remember now, does a great job.
Yeah.
He's put the shims in onto the 2 tables on the mezzanine floor, and the shark grey cloths went on approximately about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Simonis 860 shark grey, I guess.
Correct, yeah, because the 760 is almost effectively free cushion billiards, isn't it? And it would be silly quick.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, it's interesting you were saying, I mean, obviously you mentioned the costs are astronomical. It's from a club perspective, I mean, players who are serious about the game, they always want to play on the best equipment, the best things and everything else. And I get that because that's what you want, you know, but in reality, for every one top player like that, there's probably 10 people that aren't at that level or are bothered about playing at that level. They're just happy to play on something and bash the balls around. And it's a balance of catering for them, because obviously them sort of people may be less likely to be more, look after the table as much when they're playing, and you know what it's like. It's difficult to sort of cater for everybody's needs, I guess, without the cost being.
You can never really keep everybody happy. I think the trick with any business like this, your product has to convey excellence. If you're going to charge a premium price for a premium product, the product itself must be premium itself.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got to make sure the people who work within that product are upkeeping it and maintaining them as best they can. And then obviously the owners, if they can, get on board with us and reinvest back into that business to maintain those standards with us, you can't go far wrong.
So how are you finding it at the moment? Is it, like you say, the cloths have been on for 6 to 8 weeks? Are you finding that the punters are generally looking after everything, Russ? Because I know you're on top of the game all the time, but when you're not there, is there anyone trying to get a bit of leeway and just doing what they want?
So we try our best to try and police it. That obviously most of the time it's generally a one-person show when you're there. So especially when you're busy, it's very hard to keep track on everything, every second of every minute of every day. We try to make sure that people don't put the brass ferrules onto the napless cloths, because generally what you find with the lesser players, they grip the cue a lot tighter, and then they end up digging down into the cloth, and then you get the burn marks, and it ruins the cloth very quickly. But also you've got to take into account not everybody is going to be playing to a high skill level. It is a business.
A bit like Matt.
You're the biggest buffalo here tonight.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, go on.
But also as well, you've got to take into account that a big percentage of your clientele are only going to be what we call casual players or drinkers. And we've got to remember that as a business, first and foremost, the club is there to make money. We can't lose sight of that.
It's interesting because, I mean, not everybody, but a lot of top a lot of people that really want to turn up, play on the best tables, the best pool, the serious players, probably don't tend to spend much on buying drinks and things. And no, I'm not saying that's everybody, but you
I
know,
think
you
there's a
probably
lot
see
of
that.
them.
We say that, but I mean, the irony is, we still drink water, we still drink Lucasades and Red Bulls and juices, what have you. So it doesn't necessarily just have to be getting shanted up every night when you're playing with your mates. So
well, here's to you guys.
Bearing in mind the membership fees and the lights and the costs, so the players still pay their way. But generally, what you find is the higher the skill level you become, we almost become snobbish. We want perfect conditions for minimum, output.
Yeah, of course.
But that's just the nature of the beast. But for me, if you don't look after your players, because they all network amongst each other, they create little, groups and they form teams and then round robins and various things. When the summer months run round, and then you lose your what we call fair weather drinkers and players, your serious players will get you through the lean times in the summer, and that's when the test is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
because that's one thing I've got to say, Russ. Like I say, when I first came back to the club, well, probably about over a year ago now, I bumped into you up there again, and you're so welcoming and so wanting the best, not only for me but for the other players that play down there. So I've got nothing but admiration for the way that you treat the players, Russ. I'm only seeing it on the 9-ball scene, but I'm sure the snooker players and the 8-ball people think the same. So
well, as a player myself, I've got a complete understanding on what I would want as a customer. So treat people how you want to be treated. Give them the service they want, and they should deserve as a paying customer. And just listen to what they're saying to you, because at the end of the day, they're the guys who come in and effectively pay my wages.
Yeah, sure.
And also as well, you create a good scene, the whole atmosphere changes. You get rid of all the shady stuff and you get rid of all the nonsense, and you get a good, solid core group of players in there. And on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night or even the weekends, it's a real good buzz to work there, and it's nothing but a pleasure to work there.
Yeah, and that builds its own reputation as well, of course, doesn't it? And filters
word of
back
mouth
through,
travels very quickly.
Yeah, and it
most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, them two tables that you got on the shark greys with the tighter pockets, are they sort of held back for the better players, or do you tend to not get them booked out so much by? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you do with those? I mean, can anybody rock up and play on one of them, or?
Effectively, anyone can go on them, but I encourage as much as possible to make sure that whoever goes on there, that at the very least they've got their own equipment, and second of all, that they're treating the tables with the respect.
Got a cue from JD Sports. I want to play on that shark grey table.
Sorry,
Feral screw-on tip.
Is it all the tables that have got the shark grey, or just them two, Russ?
So when we did the deal with Total 9-Ball, we had only literally just got the tables recovered with John with the original cloths we got in that he ordered.
I got you. Yeah.
Now the other shark greys are being held back until the next recover within the next 5 to 6 months. And then they'll all be covered in it.
And then what are the size pockets on those tables?
So they are, in all the years that the club's been there, they're still the 5 inches.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And ironically, that's effectively how the game was when we started watching it ourselves 20 plus years ago.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, the game, like every sport, has evolved. Matchroom have now started to standardize the equipment.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's all positive and moving forward. And I'm going to make sure, and I've heard it through plenty of people as well, we're definitely going to look to shim the pockets down to make them, a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
Simply because the irony is, even though you want the pockets to be generous for your general public, because if they pop balls, they stay longer, they spend more money.
Yeah, of course.
But you also want it where it's actually going to be, where the skillful players will be rewarded, because, if they're too generous, then all you seem to hear from people is, oh, that game's easy, the pockets are buckets, and anyone.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
We've all heard it all. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking to certainly get some new rubbers cut and get them a little more tighter for future tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be another 6 months down the line, but it's definitely in the pipeline.
Right. So, Russ, how did your Q Sport career start out? Where did you start? How old was you?
Well, career. So,
how did it all start? Because I remember you years ago back on the BPPA.
I was a young, slim man with curtains.
I don't remember you playing on that. I played on loads of them. I never seen. I can't remember that. Must have been.
Yeah, so probably I was a couple of stone lighter then. That's probably why. So, well, I started probably like most of us. My dad purchased one of those snooker tables from Argos when I was about 4 or 5.
Did it have the push-on pockets?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
I used to sit in front of the television with my dad. God rest his soul, by the way. And
I
lost it 6 months ago, and I'm still trying to get my head around it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he taught me how to play the game. You know, I used to sit in front of the television watching all the snooker in the 80s when Davis was the player, leading into the 90s when Hendry took over, and I was just fascinated with the colours on the screen as opposed to what was going on. As a kid, you don't really understand. And then once he got me a table, we sort of discovered I had a bit of hand-eye coordination. And a little bit of aptitude for wanting to learn. And then it went from there, really.
What was the first shot you wanted to learn, Russ, on the snooker table when you had that little one? Screw back.
I think most people, as soon as you realise you can make the ball move around, everybody's fascinated by screwing the ball all over the place.
Of course it is. That's what
Here comes the Jimmy
trying to do a screw back shot on a bloody 4-foot Kasdan.
I mean, at the time, it seemed huge to me at the time because I was known taller than knee high to a duck at the time. So to me, it was big. But I first went into snooker leisure when I was about 12 or 13 when I first went in there. There was a couple of other places in High Wycombe, working men's clubs where they had tables, the old British Legion, that's now the Riverside Club. Used to go in there with my nan and my granddad. They used to send me into the snooker room. There you go, here's 50p. You know, and they would find me in there 2 hours later. They'd have to scrape me off the table. Used to play a little bit of English pool in the pubs, just playing people for fun. Started watching the American pool when Barry Hearn got involved in it in the sort of mid-90s with the Moscone Cup.
Yeah, it was early Ronnie O'Sullivan, Jimmy White, wasn't it?
The snooker players were playing in it.
Yeah, Higgin.
And then Fast Eddie's opened in 97. First went in there as a scruffy 14-year-old. Started playing the game. Like most players to start with, you just play 8 balls. It's a game everybody knows.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And then you start watching some players who either have living in England, who were from the Philippines or America or Canada, and you're watching these guys play this rotation game. Well, what's this? You know, they're spinning the ball everywhere. Oh, I want to learn that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I met Simon Hadley, who really took me under his wing and taught me so much about the game. Because when I started playing him, it was 9-0, 9-1, 9-2. And as a cueist, you know, I had good skills, good technique, and I couldn't understand why I was getting destroyed. But then you suddenly realize the game isn't about potting the balls. That's not the skill. You know, the skill is moving that cue ball, and it's the patterns. You just don't see these patterns when you don't play the game.
Yeah.
You know, and the safety, you know, if it's easier to pot the balls, guess what? It's harder to defend. And people forget that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then so I started playing various types of different cue sports. I play even bar billiards, believe it or not, if I can find a table. If you give me a cue in my hand and a table with balls on it, I'm happy.
You'll have a go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, because I saw you the last time I saw you. I think you was playing in just I think it was a Sunday. I think you was playing in an English 8-ball at your club. So is that something that you sort of play in between as well?
Yeah. So on
in
the
a little
occasion,
there was a little tournament going on.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now, actually. So we've got the Wycombe Pool League that myself and my mate Scott really put some time and effort into revive.
Yeah.
It sort of get into a stage where we were down to sort of 5 or 6 teams in the whole of the town. And bearing in mind, understandably, all the pubs and clubs, as you know, are starting to close. So it minimises the venues. So we sort of took hold of the social media and started doing little streams and little videos and just pushing it. And I went round and spoke to landlords and players, and obviously you network by seeing these people in the club anyway.
Yeah.
And then slowly but surely we started to get some teams in to our club. So I would offer them benefits, you know, for playing for the venue. So we give them a bit of a discount on the tables and complimentary memberships and various things, incentives and food and all the rest of it. And then we just made sure that we tried to get as many people within the town or within the surrounding area interested, because any venue now would love to have an extra £300-400 behind the bar on a Thursday night.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Especially in this current climate. And
It's
the
quite
Wickham
tough, yeah.
the Wickham Pool League, as we know it now, I believe stands at 22 teams in 2 divisions.
Oh well,
It's basically trebled, if not
Yeah.
quadrupled.
Yeah,
oh, that's not too bad, is
that's
it?
good.
You know?
That is, yeah.
And now we've managed to secure Premier Pool promotions and total 9 ball for this year as a minimum.
Yeah.
Some of the boys have even considered picking up a 9 ball queue and just giving that a go. So it's about
Oh,
giving
that's fair
people
enough. Yeah.
if you give people a platform, you know, that's what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
So what about? Do you get much time to practice, Russ? Things like that? Or
Not as
I know
much
you
as you think.
I know you mentioned earlier, like I say, that you don't really do loads of it, but are you like at nights? Do you ever get sort of an hour's here and there to play 9 ball?
So generally on a night shift, it's a 12-hour shift. So I break the shift up into 2 halves. So the first half is
24 hours a day. Sorry, Russ, the club.
correct. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I break it up into two halves. So the first half of the shift is effectively when you're dealing with the customers face to face, operating the tables, getting people in and out, etc., etc. Once the majority of people have gone, if we don't have any machine players in the machine area that I have to keep an eye on or serve, etc., I've got various duties to complete. So obviously the table has got to be looked after and the balls cleaning and various duties, admin duties, paperwork, I've got to sort the machines out. And then I'll fit my breaks in as and when I get the chance to, when I get some downtime. So if I get 15 minutes to sit down and have a cup of coffee just to clear my head, I'll do so.
Yeah,
but
sure.
I might throw one of the tables on and hit some balls around for 10 minutes just to get my arm going and just to clear my head.
Yeah. So what cue do you use, Russ, for the old American ball?
Yeah, so I've got a Predator. It's a sort of a entry-level Predator, really.
I think I've seen it. Is this the one you're selling? Have you still trying to sell this?
It's still online. Yeah, at the minute I'm looking to upgrade, so I'm still using it. I've got a 314 third generation shaft on it, and Mark Newell has put a Kamui Clear tip on it for me. That's playing lovely. And I'm playing some reasonable stuff with it. It's 19.5 ounces. I've got to be honest, I'm torn between getting rid of it or not really.
Yeah, so you're not bothered either way, really. It's just
yeah,
working.
I mean, it's more of a psychological thing because if you get hold of a new cue, it sort of gives you a bit of an injection of enthusiasm. Whereas we're all looking to chop and change when we probably don't really need to. I've not moved over to carbon. I can't really get on with it. I've tried a few shafts out, but it's not really for me. I'm quite happy with the maple. And then coming from a snooker and English pool background, I've always had ash cues anyway. I've got a John Paris Challenger cue for my English pool and snooker. Yeah. So I jump between all the cue sports really. It just depends how I'm feeling. If I fancy spinning the ball off 3 cushions, I'll play 9 ball. If I fancy queuing a blue in from 8-10 feet away, I'll play a bit of snooker. And I even play English billiards. I love just playing little nursery cannons along the cushion. It's almost psychopathic almost, but it's one of the hardest skills out there. I challenge anybody to do it.
Oh, don't put that challenge up. That man on my left there, he'll undertake it at the moment. He's got loads of little videos. I don't know if you've been watching these little videos lately.
I've seen some of them. I have seen some of them. Yeah.
Do you fancy having to go at any of them drills, Russ, or what?
I've got a couple of them saved on my phone. Actually, I was going to ask you about this. Actually, I was definitely going to do the blindfold one.
Oh, that's a must.
Oh, that's odd. That is.
I think everybody's got to do that.
It's odd. I thought it'd be easy to do that, but it isn't.
I think the closest anyone's come, I think it was Andy Carter, wasn't it?
Yeah, ironically.
Andy Carter from Solihull. I think he was about probably 3 or 4 inches away.
I'll tell you what, if somebody can do that and they can prove that it's live without multiple takes, they definitely need some type of incentive if they could do it.
Oh yeah, we said we'd sort them out with something. I mean, it's just I thought it'd be easy. You're standing up, right? You know the balls are there. You can put your hand down on the table and then get back up again, but put your blindfold on. But you'd think it'd be easy to just get back down and know where the ball is and everything. But it's no. It's
well, it sort of goes to show, though, probably the most important thing is your eyes. Without your eyes, and your alignment, you can have the most perfect delivery of the cue, but if you're not aligned correctly,
it does.
And they obviously go hand in hand.
Yeah, not even Mr. Miyagi can help you out with that one. But them are the drills. I was saying earlier to Gareth, I think that's really helped me, to be honest, just doing them drills because I want to do the things I've set up. I want to do it. I want to make that shot so I can get it on the camera to put up or whatever. And it's forcing me to just focus more. And I think that's probably why I've been playing a bit better lately, because I've been trying to take down some of these things. So if you get some time, set up one of them drills, give it a try and get your camera on, because when you're filming yourself as well, if you make a mistake, you can see where you go wrong anyway, and that's always good to watch back as well, because you can probably tell why you missed the ball that you missed. Maybe it was your cue action or something. But it's it's definitely a different way of practicing, but a good way of practicing as well, if you got the patience to do it. But that's another thing it gives you the patience to do it as well, if you can do it. So yeah, have a go at some of them, film them if you get them, drop it into us. And
I think Russ, next time you're back in the office as such, I think you need to do us a buffalo blindfold, mate. We would well appreciate that, mate, and we'll make it go. We'll make you and it go global. Because
I'll tell you what, you can hold me to that, and I'll even do it live for you to prove I'm not cheating.
Okay, well, make sure you find that dark side out and spin it round like we did before, and so we can have the brand on show. That's key. So, what are your plans moving forward, Russ? What you got planned at the moment for the club, or what direction's the club going in at the moment?
Yeah, so we are looking into a refurb. So we've actually had the notice put on the front of the building, for obviously legal reasons, just to let people know we are making a slight alteration to the license.
Is that to do with the tables as well? Any table changes?
Yeah. So we're hoping to get a diamond table in at the bare minimum in the not too distant future. We're just waiting for confirmation on that. But we're looking to move the machine area into a different area where we can still see it from the bar, but it's not quite in your face.
Gotcha. Yeah.
As it is now, and then the tables effectively will go through the floor from the left side of the room through that where the machines are now to up to where the mezzanine is, and then you can effectively from the mezzanine see all the way through across the club, and then the big screen will be moved to probably where table 24 is, which is the English table, and then it will be closer to what the old setup was back in the Fast Eddie days.
Oh, lovely.
We're looking to take away some of the snooker tables just basically for floor space reasons, and then with what's left, probably leave about 8 of them from the original 10, and then enclose the snooker to try and make it soundproof. Because that was one of the things I noticed when the refurb happened. It's the only snooker club I've ever seen where the snooker's not actually encased to keep it soundproof. So you can't really have the music on downstairs and keep all the drinkers happy and the players happy at the same time. It's a juggling act.
Yeah. So go on, mate.
Oh, sorry. And then with the snooker tables taken out, we're looking to put in 6 or 7 Supreme English pool tables, simply to supply the demand on a Thursday, because we've got 6 teams that play out of there now from the Raging, 3 of which generally are at home 1 week. The other 3 go to the away venues and so on and so forth. So when the punters come in, we're sort of low on tables to give them. So if we can give them extra tables, and obviously the smaller tables create less floor space, so it gives you better take-ins in a smaller area, and then we can also look at we can also be looked upon as potentially a tour stop for any amateur tours or maybe county or interleague, because 5 tables isn't really enough. Everything
there's good ambition there then, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things in the pipeline. It's a long process. It's just taking baby steps, really. So for what we've achieved together, myself and Jacob and my co-workers, we've got a great team down there. They're a lovely bunch. We're all pulling in the same direction. We're doing what we can. We are slowly making inroads to making that place a real players venue, and it's a pleasure to work in.
No, it's a lovely club to play in. But Russ, what another question I was going to ask you? What's the snooker these days? Is it just a dying breed?
It's hard though, because the next generation of players who should really be recycling the older ones, they're now growing up with technology in their hands. When we were in our teens, we didn't have social media, and mobile phones, so the days where you would go out to the local club or the pub and, that's where your networking happened. You'd find the local plumber or, electrician or whatever. You could just press 2 buttons on your phone and you find it all there in front of you.
Yeah,
and that's how you do all your networking now. And the reality is, because of the cost of living and the people don't have the money they may have had, say, 15 years ago, and the way the scene is, you don't get as many people come through these venues.
Yeah.
And also there's less of them. This is the problem. London alone must have had at least 100, if not more, clubs when I was a kid in my pre-teens. Now you can count them on one hand probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And and also as well, because technology is what it is, people would probably rather sit at home with their partner or their friends and just watch Netflix on their phone or their laptop and just buy X amount of drinks from Tesco or wherever.
Yeah.
As opposed to come out to the venues. So it's up to us to give people an incentive to want to come to our venues, and not just the Raging, all the clubs. I don't look at other venues as a conflict of interest. I see it as we're all a little community. If we keep our players coming into our venues, they bleed over to other venues and they keep the scene alive.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it sounds like there's good ambition going on there, Russ, and it's good to hear the direction that you're taking,
Have you got any ambition to play on any of the tournaments? I mean, GB9, of course, is on the verge of
I've just
again.
seen,
Are you thinking about that? Or
it looks like it's going to be in Bradmore Farm in Haddingham, Aylesbury, which is like a stone throw away from where I live in High Wycombe. So,
that's perfect for you then, isn't it?
Yeah. So wouldn't even need to worry about hotels or anything. So, certainly now we've got Total 9 Ball and Premier Pool in Wycombe. There's certainly no excuse for me now not being able to get to play in these. Obviously, I would have to move my shifts around with my co-manager to make sure that we've got the staff in place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to play. While I'm still able to play, to a reasonable level and get myself playing competitively, I'd like to think I could do some damage on these things.
Well, yeah, I mean, no
but the
reason why
reality
you
is
can't.
I need to be playing. Just playing 5-10 minutes here and there isn't gonna cut it. I need to be actually practicing competitively with good players in a competitive environment. Because when you're not match sharp, it's frightening. How far off the pace you are. And even the Wednesday wankers we have. What a great group! What a great group of boys they are, by the way. Every single one of them, to a T, are a wonderful bunch of guys, and they're a pleasure to see every Wednesday.
The Wednesday wankers, I like that.
Yeah, it's been running for about 9-10 months now. We get an average of between 12, 16, 18 runners, depending on what's going on with people, work, family, etc. The best one we had was 23.
Oh, that's not bad, is it?
The whole bottom floor was taken. It was wonderful. That alone, the standard of the players who have joined it, you've really seen, their skills go up because they're playing competitively. And it's great to see. And
double limb and things that you run, is it, or is it just not single limb? I mean, because we do the same thing at Solihull on a Wednesday, but we don't call it the Wednesday wankers. Not yet, anyway.
We call it the Wednesdays wannabes.
Well, we spell it with a Z anyway because we don't like swearing where we work.
Yeah.
It's more gangster that way, isn't it? But so we started off just with it was about 6 or 7 people: Phil, Mark Newell, and a couple of other guys, Carl Williams, and gradually we started just sort of speaking to the players who were coming in on the same night, and they were looking and going, "Oh, what's going on here? There's tournaments here." Slowly got them involved one by one, and then it sort of grew from there, really. And we just charged a small green fee for the table lights on what is generally a quieter night compared to the busier nights. So, and then, from there onwards, we've got a good little scene there.
I mean, they're great, them. Like I say, the Wednesday tournament, I love it because, again, it's 12 to 15, 18 players, and the standards got better over I can see the increase in the standard of the players across the board, and you're playing competitive matches, even though they're only 4 race to 4s sometimes. It really forces you to try to play. It's like playing a mini tournament in one night, and you get a few games. It's a great way of also getting new people into the game, because some players, might not see it, shouldn't see it this way, but if they pay a tenner to go in, they're playing potentially a minimum of 2 games, but then they play like free table play for the rest of the night against some of the other people that have gone out. And for £10 to play against like some good players, play a night of pool, network, have a drink, it's a good deal. Maybe that's a good angle to use to get more people in, to promote it that way. And as I keep saying, in 9 ball, a lot of people are more than willing to help other people out. Just the way it is, the community of 9 ball. And you
That's
can
the
use
one
that as an
thing I've
angle
noticed,
to,
yeah.
yeah, and I've always said this about American pool, you know, and any of the tours I've been on and the tournaments, is that people do like to talk to each other. There's not much snobbiness or anything, you know, people get on, everybody's willing to help each other out or talk to each other. And yeah, I mean, you can use that as an angle to get introduce more people into these little events, and then over time you see the increase in the game, and before you know it, they're taking down some of these bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see, because you never know when you're going to unearth the next monster. I mean, one example, Carlo Blasi, who comes over to us probably every other Wednesday or every 2 out of 3 Wednesdays from Watford. You know, he's certainly one who, you know, in his sort of early 20s, who potentially is going to go on to become, you know, a really dangerous player. And there's still players out there who just haven't got the platform. You just need to give them the platform. You know, there's some young lads who play on one of our raging English pool teams. You know, Luke Thompson and some of his boys. They're a good bunch of boys, and there's some talented lads. They just need a bit of a shove in the right direction.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of us old sods around just to give them, you know, a little bit of encouragement and, you know, just sort of steer them away.
Guide him a long way. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's really good to see there is another generation of players coming up. It is good to see, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, your youngsters are your future. It's as simple as that. And obviously we've got the Bucks University just over the road from us.
Oh, that must be a massive help for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very enthusiastic to encourage to get the students into the venue. So I've offered student memberships and rates during what we call the downtime period. I did take a small liberty in the club and pretty much asked for forgiveness rather than permission to do certain things, knowing that we were going to generate, you know, footfall through the venue by doing it. But I obviously researched, you know, what we were sort of doing figures wise before I made those decisions. You know, for example, we've got more women coming into the venue now than ever before, especially in groups. It goes without saying, you get more girls into the venue, it's going to bring more blokes into the venue. You get more...
Bring a lot of gimps in.
Sorry?
Bring some gimps in.
Apparently there is one of those little chambers up on Castle Street somewhere, I've heard, but I don't know the entrance to it. I dare not.
Well, how would you know that, Russell?
Well, you know, the thing is, like, we hear lots of things where I work. You could do your Christmas shopping.
Oh, you're breaking up.
Yeah. Didn't wash anyway.
Russ, you mentioned earlier that you wanted to give us a shout out to a young man.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know, we all are in agreement with it. But please,
I'd like to think I speak on behalf of pretty much the whole pool community as well when I say this. Mark England's down in Bournemouth, as we all know, is currently fighting cancer. Unfortunately, it is terminal. When I entered the UK Open, the inaugural one in 2022, Damien Massey and Mark were down there together as roommates, and they saw me and we had a good old chat, and they were great with me for the 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it was I was down there. And I really struck up a real bond with, you know, both of them. Damien I know previously from, you know, several years ago. First time I'd really had a chance to chat to Mark properly, apart from what I'd seen when he used to run the clubs, all the stuff down in Bournemouth. And they were great. They were brilliant. And I just wanted to send my best wishes out to him. You're a brave man. You were absolutely fantastic with me down in London at the Copper Box. And I just want to send out my best wishes, and, you know, just keep fighting, mate. Every single one of us in the pool community, you know, has got, you know, we're giving you our thoughts, our prayers, and our deepest respects. And you're a legend, mate. You know,
absolutely.
God bless you.
What was his nickname?
The Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Yeah, because a lot of people know him as the Cyclone.
The Cyclone. Yeah.
Great guy. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Damien as well. Absolute gentleman.
Yeah, Damien's another nice guy in the pool world.
Yeah. Really nice thing to say. Yeah. The Cyclone. Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, such a shame. But, you know, it's
it's really a testament to how close this community of ours is. You know, regardless of your skill level or your background or where you live, everybody knows someone who knows someone. It's amazing, from all the way up to guys like Imran, Tony Drago, Raj, Darren Appleton, guys like that, all the way down to the guys coming into the game. We all know someone who knows someone.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's lovely to know that we've got a real tight bond of a community. And I can pick up the phone to you, Gareth. I know you'll be there if I need you, and vice versa.
Yeah,
I'm sure I can say that about a lot of people.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
it's
mate.
really nice to know, because since I've lost both my parents, I look at this scene as an extension of my family. The young kids coming up are my kids. The other guys are my friends and my peers, and that's how I treat them.
Oh, you're a legend, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it comes across that way, Russell.
Yeah, definitely does.
But what I wanted to ask you, Russell, just not changing the subject, but getting back onto a very serious subject. You were very fortunate to be handed one of the dark side shirts, one of the unique shirts last year.
The UK Open ones, was it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you manage to put that up in the club at all? Or,
yeah, so
I haven't been up there, Russell. So
yeah,
I'm hoping you're going to tell me. Yes.
So that little I can't remember what it's called now, but the that thing you scan with your phone that effectively then links you onto the website.
Yeah,
it's nicely framed and it looks lovely. So also the hat is always adorns. Most nights when I'm sort of practicing, it does seem to work. I do believe in the force, by the way. Yeah.
well, maybe you could get us a photograph of that sent over, Russ, and we'll put that on our web page, and we'll put
yeah, most definitely, I could do that.
That would be fantastic, mate. Just to add to the repertoire of advertisement, because darkSIDepool has got big ambitions this year, and we want to take the right people along with us. And would you agree with that, Matt?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to hear. It's good to hear.
There's a lot in the pipeline that people are not quite hearing yet, and the force is strong, mate.
It's really, really good to hear that you're really promoting the game at the grassroots level, because we all of us collectively need to be doing this. It's great. It's exactly.
Like I mean earlier, we everybody helps each other. If someone come up to me, ask me how to play a shot, I wouldn't have a clue, but I still tell them. But no, I mean we'll all help each other out, and everybody's got time for everybody, as you said a minute ago there. And it's just how it is in the American pool, and that's what it's like. It's great. I mean, just before we wrap everything up, Russell, because I've got to take my dog a walk in a minute. He's been desperate. He's a nightmare, my dog is. But is there anything else you want to add for the club? Because I mean, there's still people probably watching, thinking, well, how do I get to the Raging Bull? What's the deal with it? I mean, what have you got going on? I mean, do you want to say anything else just to shout out for anybody else thinking, I want to get in there? Is there anything you want to say, offers or anything maybe that you want to shout out to people to let them know, get them through the doors?
Yeah, so all three of the clubs. So it's High Wycombe, St Albans and Greenford. I co-manage the High Wycombe club. So we're a private members club on Corporation Street in High Wycombe. We've got the 10 full-size American tables, 10 full-size billiard tables upstairs, 5 of the English tables, little slot area. It's £25 for an annual membership. I also offer student memberships at £15 annually. Another thing that I look to promote, military, ex-military and blue light workers also can get a membership for £15 annually.
Okay.
It's also getting in the right sort of people into the venue as well. The 3 for 2 offer, Sunday through to Thursday, effectively gets people a third off their table if they were to play the full 3 hours. And then there's also various marathon deals available as well if you fancy a longer session.
Brilliant.
And the teams in the venue on a Thursday, the snooker league's about to start up again within the next week. I'm just waiting from our captain, Lee Carlton, just to give me the feedback and information on that. And then we're looking to continue the round robin on a Wednesday, so you can speak with Phil or Carl Williams, Phil Wildman, Carl Williams. They'll hook you up with that.
Is that the Wednesday Wankers?
Correct, yeah. And we're looking to start up the snooker round robin on Sunday evenings. I've just got to get hold of Jeff Burke just to speak to him about that. And we've got the 2 High Wycombe interleague pool teams that are due to start their new season in the Berkshire Pool Association Region 7. That will be in the next couple of weeks. We'll be starting that.
So loads of stuff going on.
Yeah, loads of
and
things.
On you got one on Sunday as well, haven't you?
The Premier Pool Promotions have got their first event, so they I think we've got 48 runners for that. I think it might be more than that. There's 3 divisions: Category A, Category B, Category C.
That's a testament to showing you. I mean, people want to play the game. You know, I mean, 48 runners is pretty good filling that. I mean,
is that just on the day? Is that just a day event? Is it, Russ?
That's a one-day event. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people like that format. Apparently, I've been hearing good things. A lot of people like that Division A, B, C format because it's giving the sort of not the top player, like, you know, the opportunity to still turn up, have a good day, and compete against similar standard of players, and they like that.
Yeah, I think the trick is that Phil has got, and Alan and the guys there have got, is that they want to make these events accessible to everybody, and then, you know, through, you know, playing competitively, your skill level will increase over time.
Yep.
So you know, so with the total 9 ball, you've got the handicaps there. Obviously, they can be, you know, addressed and looked at if so required. And then the Premier Pool Promotions that Phil runs alongside that is just straight races to 7, and then you'll put in a league category with your own skill level, or what they consider your skill level. I counted, I think there was 21 different events this year. So every 3 weeks we've got a tournament down there. So it's looking pretty healthy. And alongside all the other things going on in there, it's quite hard juggling it. So we've got a real good base down there. And I've got some big plans as well this year. So,
Oh,
when you get them announced,
well,
let us know, and we'll put it out for you.
And we'll get them up there.
Yeah.
Well, before you go, Russ, we've got a new addition to how we end the show, and it's called the Final Thought. I would just like to say, and here is the first Final Thought, guys. You've heard it here tonight about. You've heard it from one of the top managers in the country in regards to a pool club, a snooker club, the Raging Bull, Russell Thompson over here, and absolute fantastic venue. And anyone that wants to go and learn the game, or go and be involved with people that want to help teach the game, you need to go to the Raging Bull in High Wycombe. So there's my final thought. Russell, you're an absolute star. You're a gent, and it's great to be involved with you, mate. It really is, because you're one of the nice guys in the scene. And
thank you. I really appreciate that.
You know, and it's good to know that you're about. So there's the final thought. Over to you, Matt.
No, you took the words out of my mouth. Even though I've never met Russell, I can, you know, from all the things I've heard and the things you've said, I can see that he's, you know, the real deal, and he's definitely got a passion to help promote the game, you know, and he's doing everything he can to do that, which is great.
Just forgot his hat.
He's just forgot his hat though. He just wanted to show his new haircut off. Look, he's doing the boy band hair.
Yeah, I know. I had to go to the butcher's earlier to get it done. It's cheaper.
Well, look, it's been great as always. You know, good chat. Interesting, you know, hearing about the managerial side of running a club, you know, the hurdles that involves, and brilliant. Thanks for coming on, and hopefully the tournament augurs well on Sunday. And
brilliant. Thank you for having me.
We'll catch up again. No, we'll catch up again with you soon.
Yeah,
and I want to see that video of you doing some drills and a blindfold challenge.
You've got my word.
You've got a couple of things on the agenda there. So
yeah,
you look after yourself, Russ, and next time I'm up that way, I'll endeavour to pop in and see you, mate.
Yeah, ping me a message, mate. It'd be great to see you.
Okay. You too, mate. Thanks again, Russell.
Thank you.
All right, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, Matt. Much appreciated.
Right,
Thank you.
All right.